Yo, what's going on my dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're using my Iceman build, and this is a build that focuses on using 2 frozen needles. It's a level 200 build, the stats are a bit funky. We've got 80 vigour, 48 endurance and then 99 dex. In our flask we're using the Opaline hard tier for the damage negation and the Thorny crack tier to boost our successive attack power, and here's a quick look at the armour and talismans we'll be using. Obviously our 2 main weapons on the build are 2 frozen needles. We've also got 2 weapons equipped in our second weapon slots, the first one being the Ice Rind Hatchet, and then we've also got the Zamor Curved Sword with the big Ash of War, the Zamor Ice Storm. And then just for a bit of variation on the build, I've also got a Cold Infused Twin Blade, just for a bit of variation to keep things fresh, and randomly on that I've got Charged Force attached on it, which is actually pretty good. And that's the build, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. It's really helping the channel out with all the new subscriptions. Let's keep that going. But it's time for you lot to sit back, relax and enjoy. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. So yeah, we're using the Iceman build. This is a really fun build. It's not one of my stronger builds, it's not amazing, but what it is a lot of fun, and it's definitely effective. You know, I wouldn't put it as one of my top damage dealers. It struggles a little bit on the out and out damage it can do if you're fighting a big gank. It's going to struggle, you know, in that burst damage department. But if I get enough space and I get a bit of room to work, it can be really effective. It just depends on the situation. The frozen needles, really cool thrusting swords. You never see anyone using these. I don't know why, for the life of me. I will never understand why we don't see anyone using more of the frozen needles, because they're just so cool. Such cool weapons. They've obviously got the dual weapon attack option that you get when you use 2 thrusting swords, which is extremely good, especially if you start buffing your consecutive attack power. It can put out some good damage. You're obviously building up the cold stat, which can get some good burst damage with the cold proc. They've got a really cool piercing, impaling thrust Ash of War, so you get some good distance and range on that. It does good damage. But the overall most unique part about these weapons is the heavy charge attack, which does that projectile little ice blast out at the tip of the thrusting sword, which is just super cool. It can really catch people off guard, and it's a really smart way to finish horse and summons off when they're at low health. They often don't expect it. You'll see a couple of times in this video I get people down to 1 shot, and then as they're running away I just do a nice little projectile R2 just to finish them off. Super stylish, super effective. It's great. It's a great build, but like I say, it can struggle a little bit in terms of out and out burst damage. It does well, it's a good build, it's a very fun build, but as I say, it can just struggle to compete for out and out damage against tough gank situations. So sometimes, you know, it can be a little bit tricky. It depends on the situation, but overall it is just a really fun build. This is another one of my level 200 builds as well, guys. I've been enjoying invading at level 200 a lot lately. It's really active. The invasions seem to be really organic invasions. You tend to get them all over the map at this level, and it's just a really fun invasion range at the moment. This was previously a level 150 build, but I've just been thinking to myself, if you're going to make any high level builds above, say like meta level 125, anything above that, you're going to be looking at level 168 or level 200. And level 150 just seemed a bit random, so I just thought buff it up, get to 200 and just get in that same invasion range that's been going so well on all the other level 200 builds that I've been using. And that is the same reason why the stats are so wild on this build. I think we've got like 85 vigour, I can't remember exactly what it is off the top of my head, but I think it's like 85 vigour, 99 dex and then like 45 endurance or something. It's a bit of a wacky stat spread, but I literally don't need any other stats. The kit I'm using on this build, that's all I want to use. You know, I could say put some points, I've got a lot of spare points there. I could have put some points into intelligence and maybe use some heavier weapons, or maybe use some ice spells, but I didn't want to do that. You know, the kit I'm using on this build is what it is. It's a melee build, It's all about the frozen needles, and then I've got the two other weapons in my second weapon slots, just to make use of the Ashes of War and mix it into the playstyle to support the frozen needles. I've already got my other build, the Frost Queen, that uses the cold spells, so I didn't want to make the same build again, if you know what I mean. I just wanted to focus on the weapons, so I didn't need any other stats. So I just thought, I'm buffing it up to level 200. Let's just go crazy on the stats that I'm actually using. So let's just go crazy on the vigor, go crazy on the dex, try and get as much out of these weapons as I can, damage wise. I know I'm not getting a lot of big returns at 99 dex, but like I say, I don't need any strength. I decided not to use any intelligence, I don't want to use any spells, so why not? You know, I'm only gone to level 200 for the invasion range and the experience of invading at level 200. It's not because I need the points, I just wanted this build to be at that level rather than level 150, so let's just go a bit mad with the stats that we're using. And yeah, I don't think it adds anything particularly extra to the build. I don't think it takes anything away from the build. It just puts me in that level range for invading at 200 where I want to be. So that explains why the stats are a bit funky. One thing that I did think about afterwards is that if I did put some points into intelligence on this build, it would actually buff the damage on the cold infused twin blade. But besides that, I wouldn't really need intelligence for anything else, so even if I did add some damage to the twin blade by buffing up the intelligence slightly, I still wouldn't be using any spells or anything like that, because like I say, this build is all about just using the melee components with the weapons that we've got. Now this was a funny invasion. I spawned in and there's a red fighting a blue here. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get in on this. It's a dual invasion. I've got a fellow invader to help me out here. You know, it's going to be a good little team battle. And then it's one of these stupid situations where I get here and the horse is just perched up there trying to dictate that me and this red fight each other. It's like, no, we're not doing a fight club. I don't want to fight my fellow red. I was just gauging the red's reaction here, see what the crack was. I didn't know what he was going to do. And then he made a couple of indications that he didn't want a fight club either. So there you go. That's what you get, host. Don't you make me fight my fellow red man, because you're just going to get a good spanking like you deserve. Look at him. Look at him. I actually know this guy. Afterwards, he messaged me. He was like, it's Bertrude, isn't it? I was like, it is Bertrude. We're on a Discord together. I follow him on YouTube. I'll put a link to his description down. I'll put a link to his YouTube down in the description. He's a good guy. And I'm just glad that he didn't attack me, because I didn't realise it was him initially. I didn't want to fight him, and he was on the same boat as me. So we just went and killed the host. Don't make us do a fight club, dude. Don't make us do it. Don't dictate to us. Don't tell us that we have to fight each other and you're just going to stand there and watch. That ain't happening. Just a little word on this build about the two weapons that I've got in my second weapon slots. The Ice Rind Hatchet and there's a more curved sword. I don't really use those too much in terms of, you know, standard attacks. I use them for the utility of the really good Ashes of War. They fit the build. It's that frost theme. They fit the build really well. They come in really handy. There's a more Ice Storm, as you can see here. Is just perfect for when I've got people pushing me. That is my go-to. I was saying earlier that this build struggles to do some big out-and-out damage. That is my go-to Ash of War if I'm getting pushed. If I'm in a pinch, I use that to try and even the playing field. But even that can, you know, it doesn't perform as well as some of the Ashes of War that we're coming against at level 200. Everyone's damage is a bit mental, so that's what I go to when I need something to get people off me. And the Ice Rind Hatchet is just good for a bit of long range poke, a bit of medium range poke I'd say. It's not massively long ranged, but it's just good for building up the ice. It helps us get those big ice procs. And yeah, they're just really good utility Ashes of War to use on those weapons. And look at this host, just standing back behind his shield. He's just stood there letting his white mask, rivers of blood, ridiculous summon, just kill that gargoyle. And I ain't going to stand for it. I think he did manage to kill it, but I'm going to kill him for doing that because that is pathetic, my friend. Don't let your summon do all the work. Get involved. Don't be lazy. Get in there, get a few swings in on the gargoyle. Don't stand back and let your rivers of blood white mask Schmeagol do all the work for you. Bang out of order. Just take a little projectile icicle to the face just because I don't like you. Just because you let your summon do all the work there when you can't do that. Lazy. That's what it is. It's lazy. Look at this bull goat's monstrosity. This is what I mean, guys. This is what I'm coming up against at level 200. And my little throws and needles, although they are very good, my little twin blade here, although it is very good, it's going to struggle against this absolute beast. Look at the state of him. And as well, I've got his horse just throwing stuff at me in the background. He's got all the poise, all the damage, all the defences. But I've got to do my best. I've got to just keep chipping away at him. Got to just keep chipping away at him. Nice little backstab there. At this point, I was thinking maybe I can deal with this guy. You can see I'm not doing loads of damage. He's got the full bull goats. He's got so much defense. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm just doing what I can. I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to make something work. I'm working on getting those big cold procs, but this guy's just poising through everything. Numerous times I get him quite low, and then he just heals in my face because he's got the poise to just poise through my attacks and get a heal off. And I was getting a little bit frustrated. I just wanted to stay on him and see what I could do. I do actually get a co-invader in this one in a minute, so I did get some my hopes up that we could make something happen between us. But let's just see what happens. You can see he's just swinging away in my face. He's swinging. I'm trying to dive in and out of his attacks. Get some good damage here with some more Ice Storm. Try and follow that up with a Twin Blade. He's trying to get a heal off, and as you can see, he's just healing in my face. Every time I get him low, he's just poising through and getting his heals off. Again, poising through my charge 4th Ash of War and lands a big Ash of War for some big damage of his own. It was at this point now where I was getting a little bit even more frustrated, and I started thinking about my other options that I can do in this invasion, and then I noticed that the horse is off there dealing with the other invader. I turn around, see that I've got a bit of space away from the bull goat Schmeagle, and I take my opportunity to get away from him and go and end this invasion. I took my chance, guys. What can I say? What can I say? We got it finished and we got the win. But this is the last one, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Take it easy, everyone. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you all next time.